Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Paige, here once again with another video on Arrow Season 7, and this is going to be my review for episode 21 for this season, the second last episode, otherwise entitled Living Proof, and obviously I'm going for the Tommy Merlyn look in this video, so yeah, just before anyone comments about it. But of course, spoiler alert for what's coming up in this video for this episode, because some weird stuff, like crazy weird, but then it's like, wait, what happened there stuff? So we'll talk about that. But yeah, if you don't watch the episode, go watch it, and then I'll come back to this later on. But if you did watch the episode, be sure to drop a like on it to show your support, especially if you're looking forward to how Arrow wraps up this season. Leave all your various opinions on the episode in the comments section down below as well. The last episode was obviously the big episode where we had like the murder mystery, or like the whodunit mystery, where we find out a couple of things about Roy. One, that he killed those dudes, all those security guards, the main reason being because he had bloodlust, because he had died, then been put in the Lazarus pit. What the hell? So lots of Roy stuff last episode was revealed, and also Emiko got the real security footage that showed Roy being the one that killed them when Team Arrow had said that Emiko had done it, and then Emiko went bang bang, a building's dropping on top of you, and that's actually exactly where we pick up, because this episode picks up right where we left off. So of course we get Oliver Sandwich, if we're still calling it the Oliver Sandwich, when he's stuck between the two big things of concrete. But there's someone there with Oliver, and he's trying to help Oliver out. But who is it? It's Tommy Merlyn. Okay, welcome back, Tommy. But we do see that the other members of Team Arrow are alive because because they're all alive in the future, and we know that Diggle lives on to at least raise Connor Hawke for a bit. So yeah, literally zero tension there, because we knew that they were going to be, you know, staying alive. But as I was saying with Emiko last episode, how she has that security footage that proves that Roy was the one that did it, she is sending off to SCPD, like she said at the end of last episode. They've seen it, and now they're in Felicity's joint. They have a warrant, and yeah, Felicity is, to use a term, crapping herself. She's not, she's pretty scared. But luckily for Felicity, she's sort of used to this, and she is able to escape with the old, I need to hug my friend, and then set off a really high, like, canary cry siren thing that's really loud. So Felicity gets away, but that's not too surprising. But, you know, the trail, or the scent is on Team Arrow, or the target is on Team Arrow because of this security footage, and then, well, lying last episode as well. Now, we do see Tommy sort of helping Oliver, similar to, like, the Adrian Chase stuff last season. Remember when Adrian Chase came back as like a vision after Oliver had, it was like the sort of like a vertigo sort of thing in him, like that drug, and you know, there was interactions and stuff. It was different than like some of the other visions Oliver's had in previous seasons. Like this one was more similar to the Adrian Chase one, and we see Tommy helping him. Like we see that Oliver's bow is broken. I thought that was going to stay that way, but then he fixes it through magic, I guess, but we sort of understand why he fixes it and stuff like that. But just having the Tommy and Oliver scenes was great. Easily the best parts of the episode. Having Colin Donnell back as Tommy was awesome. But essentially, like, through Tommy and Oliver's conversations, the feel that I was getting, I'm sure a decent amount of you were getting, and when they sort of hammer this home at the end, is that Tommy was sort of convincing Oliver to not kill Emiko, not kill her, and just go about it a different way, which I thought this was fitting, because Tommy dying was sort of what stopped Oliver killing initially after season 1, and then for a bit. Obviously, he has killed some people, but he's not killing everyone he comes in contact with, which he was doing back in season 1. So Tommy dying was sort of the cause of Oliver, you know, not just being a straight up murderer all the time. So I did think it was fitting that he was the one to bring this up to Oliver. And I did not even realize this before Tommy started, you know, Tommy and Oliver, you know, started bringing it up themselves. I did not honestly see the parallels between the Oliver and Emiko situation and the Tommy and Merlyn situation, where Oliver was just, you know, blinded by the threat of Emiko and what she was doing because she was his sister. She was his sister, does that make sense? Yeah, she was his sister. And it's the same with Tommy, where he found it too late, the threat that his father was, because, well, he was his father. So Oliver's trying to basically do what Tommy didn't and realize the threat sooner rather than later. So I thought the parallels there are quite clear, but I don't think many people picked up on them until it was, you know, spelled out to us in this episode, which I thought was pretty cool. Now, we did have that scene where Roy sort of like jumps into that toxic gas and turns off the generator and then jumps up, and Dinah's crying. But then before that, Dinah was like saying, Roy, you should go hand yourselves in, and we should be the ones to, you know, be free and stuff like that. Dinah of recent has been like the worst written character on the show. Like, it's so glaringly obvious that she's so terribly written. I don't know what's going on with that, because Dinah's always been a bit inconsistent, but it's never been this obvious. So hopefully it fixes itself up. I don't know, it just felt super weird, Dinah, this episode. Anyway. Now we do have Emiko learning that Felicity is pregnant, when Felicity basically uses the "I'm pregnant" thing to sort of save her own life. Weird that Alina stayed alive. Like, wouldn't Emiko be like, okay, well, just shoot your friend then? You know, why wouldn't you do that? But the Alina and Felicity conversation sort of set up Felicity leaving at the end of the season and going to that cabin, which we obviously saw in the Star City 2040 episode. So it's, you know, and moving everything there and setting stuff up from there. So it set all of that up. But one of the more like, hold on, what's going on here scenes was when we have Team Arrow versus the Burned, we're calling them, I guess, you know, the hooded Ninth Circle dudes, which is okay. Yeah, Team Arrow versus them, you know, cool, fair enough. Then we have Oliver versus Emiko, and Oliver actually does shoot Emiko, even though Diggle's telling him not to. Emiko falls to the ground, basically dead. Then we turn around and Diggle's shot, and I'm like, wait, did Oliver just shoot Diggle but thought it was Emiko? What the hell? Then he falls over and lands on the ground, and all of them are dead. All of Team Arrow, Roy, Renee, Dinah, and Diggle are all dead there. And I'm like, wait, what? What is going on here? And then we basically see that it was all in Oliver's head. This was all in Oliver's head. And I was like, oh, interesting. I could see this triggering a lot of people. But for me, I was like, this sort of works with what Tommy was sort of doing in this episode. But it sort of makes you think, like, did we spend a lot of time on it? But it still works. It just, I can understand if people get angry by it. But then this leads into Tommy having this like this speech about Oliver getting through to Emiko with the good side of him, using the good side of himself rather than the, I guess, the bad or dark side, and trying to use that to get through to Emiko, which I think is the right way to go about it, because of the obviously the mindset that Oliver was in at the beginning of this episode, and this path that Tommy's sort of presenting to Oliver towards the end. I think it works, and that's probably the path that Oliver should go down, because it is his sister. The biggest issue that I have with the vision stuff, with this all being like fake or a nightmare, is that the Felicity stuff, and also I'm guessing all the other Team Arrow stuff happened, but it all played into Oliver's nightmare dream thing. So would he have to have heard all this stuff going on for it to incorporate into his dream and nightmare? Like, how does he know that Emiko knows about Felicity? If it was all a dream and a nightmare. You know, that Emiko knows about Felicity's pregnancy. Yeah, what? Like, that's the only thing that sort of is an issue. Like the other Team Arrow stuff, this episode was set up weirdly. Like, I don't think the Team Arrow stuff really affected Oliver's dreams and nightmares, because I don't think he ever references them. But the Emiko knowing about Felicity's pregnancy, that's an issue. The only thing I can think of is that maybe Felicity put it through the earpiece and he was able to hear it, and it went into his subconscious and was able to hear it through his dream/nightmare thing. I think. What? I don't know. If you have any clarification, let me know in the comments. But we finish off the present day by seeing the Burned, or the Ninth Circle, taking on the SCPD. They're getting absolutely stomped. There's slaughterhouse basically going on there. And they're there to basically get that weapon that was taken from last episode. Emiko's able to get that weapon. Oliver tries to do that whole good-hearted speech thing to Emiko. Unfortunately, she just, you know, doesn't want to hear any of it. Just like, look, talk to the hand. Face has had enough. I'm going. And, you know, zips away. And that basically sets up the finale for next week in regards to the present day. Bit of a weak ending and weak setup, I guess. They could have done a better cliffhanger than that. But I guess it does set it up. Whether it's average, good, or bad, it's still a setup. But in regards to the future stuff for this season, we do see those Archer robots have been called Zeta, or Zeta, I think it's Zeta they say on the show. And that's as in like the Zeta Project, which is in Batman Beyond. So they didn't call it the Zeta Project at any point in this episode, I don't think. If they did, let me know. It's just referred to as Zeta. But Zeta Project is in Batman Beyond. It's basically sort of like a similar thing. So, interesting. Now, as we were saying last episode, or not last episode, a few episodes ago, we had Alina get like the source code and all that coding stuff for Archer. It was like a backup. And we were like, okay, she stares at that stick for a long time, so is she going to be the one in the future that gives that away? And we see future Alina literally dyed her hair as if she almost like became Felicity. It looks blonde. The lighting in the future stuff is hard to tell whether it's blonde or grey or silver or white. I don't know what it is. She's the one that gave it away. So yeah, and then we have the Archer people come in and be like, oh, we found ya. Lasers on ya. So Team Arrow in the future has been caught, which sets up a big thing for the finale in both the present and the future, as both teams are, you know, on the run, either on the run or like, you know, have their eyes on them by certain authorities. So it's going to be very interesting to see how both of them wrap up, and especially what happens in the future. Like, will certain people die? Because in the present, we know that certain people won't die. But in the future, you know, I think everyone's got the possibility to be slaughtered and be killed. So it's going to be very interesting. But yeah, overall, I thought this was a really solid episode for like 3/4 of it. The twist, I didn't think it was bad. I can understand the twist because, you know, we obviously knew Tommy was a hallucination. It just mattered whether it was in Oliver's head, like in regards to him having a dream, going like, oh, this is nice. Thanks, Tommy, for talking to me. Or whether he was just seeing it, like it was a vision. So, or hallucination, or whatever you want to call it. So the twist, I didn't hate, but I didn't love it. It was just sort of like, okay, I see what you're doing. It was okay. The ending I wasn't the biggest fan of. You know, this is the second last episode. You think there should be a better cliffhanger. I think there should have been a better one. But maybe they wanted to use the future stuff as the cliffhanger. I don't know. But this episode just ended up being like a decent episode. Like a strong, you know, first 3/4. Then like just an average. And maybe a bit of a letdown in certain areas last quarter. But I think overall it was a pretty solid episode. And a decent episode leading into the finale. Which hopefully does do a lot for not only wrapping up this season, but also setting up what we see next season as well in the final season of Arrow. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like and show your support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on this episode. What did you love? What did you hate? What did you like? What did you dislike? And anything in between. Let me know all of that in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.